Hello there. Welcome to Comics League Live. I'm Jared. I'm here with Nick from Phoenix Press.
General Kenobi.
Yeah, so we're going to start with our review of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And apparently Nick and I are going to have a nice civil debate about it.
There's going to be a civil war. I hope you guys have your pitchforks ready.
Yeah, we're going to try to have a nice civil conversation about it. So I liked it. Nick has some very mixed feelings about it. So I guess we'll start. All right. So Nick, why is it a meh to you?
Meh is kind of the overall feeling. There's some stuff I really didn't like. Some stuff I thought was cool. Okay. The villains I thought was kind of, I really didn't like the whole
Inquisitor.
the main Inquisitor being the third sister. Also the fact that it renders Rebels non-canon.
How does it do that?
Is it okay if I do spoilers?
Well, yeah, of course. So wait, hang on. All right, from now on out, spoilers. Okay, now go ahead.
Okay, so in the second episode, she kills the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Who he doesn't die until Rebels.
Well, it could be there are multiple Grand Inquisitors.
Of the same race that look the same?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, but I feel like it was kind of implied to be the same one. I mean, bad makeup notwithstanding. I mean, the makeup looked on the alien makeup looked high school theater production level.
Okay, well, I see what you're saying there, and to a certain degree, yeah, the makeup was meh. I think it was better than the trailer, though. I would imagine a little bit, at least the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I did like how the third sister has this sort of obsession with taking down Obi-Wan's because she wants to gain favor with Vader. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a interesting.
Ambition is a key Sith trait. I'll give you that much. I'll admit that.
What?
Ambition is one of the key Sith traits. So I'll admit that.
Yeah, and I like how. So this is how Obi-Wan finds out Anakin is still alive. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that kind of that's also another a lot of this. I characterize this as death by 1,000 cuts. The big thing for me was Leia. Leia was so aggressively annoying, the whole stereotypical smart 10-year-old girl kind of BS. It was just so there was a lot of stuff that was so incredibly unnecessary, and also the thing was how does a random Inquisitor know that Anakin was Vader, because the whole thing was Anakin was supposed to die.
That is true. Now that you mention that, yeah, they thought Anakin Skywalker was killed.
Because if you look at Rebels, when Vader talks to the Emperor, he says Anakin Skywalker's apprentice. Because even in Vader, Vader's mom. I'm going to go back to Rebels a lot with this because the Inquisitors come from Rebels, and they're kind of taking a lot of cues from Rebels here. I mean, the setting is very similar, so I'm going to keep comparing it to the two. Which I like Rebels, by the way. I actually like.
I love Rebels too.
And just kind of to be perfectly fair, I feel like taking Obi-Wan off of Tatooine was probably a good idea. And I kind of like the way they kidnapping Princess Leia was not a bad story idea.
Yeah.
Especially with the way they set it up. I'm trying to be fair here. Because the whole setup, a Jedi can't help but whatever, but can't help but help you. It's their weakness. It's they're kind of playing on that theme. So that part was fine. And I do enjoy the irony of we're trying to hunt a Jedi, so we capture one of Anakin Skywalker's children, yet you don't know we have it. I do love that. It is kind of a bit of irony that I do find humorous.
Yeah, I guess so. And I see where you're going with the whole canon contradiction, which Lord knows we all know that Disney has no respect for Star Wars canon, so it doesn't exactly surprise me there.
I'm kind of over as much as I love the old EU, I've kind of come to terms with the fact that, like, okay, they've thrown that out. Everything post that is supposed to be canon. You know, like, that's the whole point of, like, the story group. And I've actually kind of enjoyed the cross-pollination. Like, you know, like, for example, you play Jedi Fallen Order, and you see the K2S2 droid. You see a lot of the, you know, see the Inquisitors from Rebels. I kind of enjoy the whole cross-pollination thing. I think it's kind of cool.
But you can have that without blatantly contradicting canon.
Yeah, so I feel like it was implied that it was supposed to be the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels. You know, because it's going to be kind of a coincidence, like, oh, you have the same race of alien that just happens to be the Grand Inquisitor, so-and-so, you know, 10 years later. Like, but at the same time, I don't know for certain, so I can't really, you know, harp on that too much. So I'll be fair.
Yeah, so it's possible. It is a bit of a stretch, but it is pretty possible.
It's something I can't say with certainty is like a clear contradiction, but, you know, like, I wish they would have given him, like, the bulbous head, because, like, they did it in Revenge of the Sith. You know, like, you know, that kind of type of character. It just, I don't know.
I did like how they have Obi-Wan sort of, like, gave up on hope because of the fact that his best friend / apprentice turned to the dark side, so he kind of feels responsible.
Which is perfectly in line with how I would think Obi-Wan would act.
Yeah, even though, he's still watching Luke, but you know, at some point he's like, I screwed up. I can't believe I did this.
I have a feeling the last shot of the series will him going into his hut from A New Hope. Because I feel like it's like that's going to be like the last scene of him actually going to that hut.
Yeah, probably. Or it could be the last scene picks up like 20 years later, and it's him going to see Luke. Saving Luke from the Sand People.
Possibly. I mean, I will say, as far as Obi-Wan meeting Leia beforehand, there is really no contradictory, because if you listen to that message, like, it could go either way. She could be familiar with Obi-Wan, but she couldn't be. You know, like, I will kind of say that there is no, like, because, like, the whole "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope" message, the way she says it, it could go either way. It could be she was familiar with Obi-Wan, because she was 10 years old when this incident happened, so she'd remember it.
Yeah.
But the way she says the message, you know, like, the whole "Help me, Obi-Wan," like, the emotion she puts in it, like, you could interpret that as familiarity. So it's like, as far as that's concerned, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm trying to be fair here.
Yeah, you can definitely be fair, and there's nothing there. There's nothing in the canon that absolutely contradicts the fact that she could be at least familiar with him. Like, maybe she doesn't know he's the one that saved her, but she
knows he's Obi-Wan. I think they say that like, he introduces her as such, you know.
Yeah. So okay, you're right. There's not like anything that will directly say okay. So, but once again, I did kind of like, so he starts off, he's like chopping meat, and he's like just going through his daily life. Then the Inquisitors show up. And I will say, isn't it kind of cool? I think like Gilgamesh from the MCU plays an Inquisitor.
Gilgamesh?
From the Eternals.
Oh, I haven't seen that dumpster fire, so.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So let's see. It's either Gilgamesh or Wong from Doctor Strange. One of those two is one of the Inquisitors. Are
you saying all Asians look the same?
No, I'm just saying I recognize the voice. I was like, oh, okay. And those two
I'm sorry.
To the point where I was confused. I was like, are you the same dude? It was weird. But anyway, so I don't want to get the stream taken down. But
sorry,
I definitely, it's all good. But let's see, what else do you want to say about Obi-Wan? I am kind of disappointed that we didn't see any lightsaber action yet, but I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, to be fair, Obi-Wan could have totally taken on all three Inquisitors in one. Grand Inquisitor might have given a little bit of trouble, but it's Obi-Wan, you know, like, and plus, honestly, with Obi-Wan's style being the ultimate defense, he could have totally, you know, like, just took on all three of them and beaten them without a sweat.
Mm-hmm. But the one actor I didn't expect to find out is Kumail Nanjiani. I was like, wait a second here. I recognize that voice.
Who?
He was the fake Jedi.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, I know that voice.
You actually kind of got to admire the balls on that, like from a character perspective. That character has a lot of freaking balls to just like pretend to be a Jedi when Jedi are actively being hunted to death. Like that takes a lot of balls.
Yeah, it does. So I understand. But yeah, that's right. He's like, and he uses magnets and all this. And I love when he tries to intimidate the third sister, and then she immediately knows that he's not a Jedi.
It's like, oh, you're not even worth my time. You're not even worth killing.
I will say though, although the actress is not the best actress so far, I do kind of like her character so far. I mean, I
need to know more. Like, I need to know why he hates Obi-Wan. Like,
my theory is that something happened during the Clone Wars. Maybe something happened that she blames Obi-Wan for, but it's not necessarily his fault or something like that. So
the opening scene with Order 66, I think it's pretty clear that's her. You know, like I think it's
it's her.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say that's her. So probably what happened is Vader might have scooped up a few younglings and had them be Inquisitors.
That's true. What could have happened also was she could have blamed Obi-Wan for is like, yes, she turned to the dark side, but she could also blame him for like allowing this to happen with like the Sith and everyone going crazy.
Yeah, because like Vader could tell the story, you know, kind of gaslighting her a little bit, you know.
That it was Obi-Wan is the one who caused all this to happen, all of her friends dying.
Yeah.
I will say though, my dad told me this today. It's kind of ballsy of Disney to keep in that scene of like the stormtroopers going into the Jedi temple and killing kids based upon what just happened in the world. I'm like, okay, Disney.
That I just realized that, and
They could have just cut it out for right now until
here. Let me take a lightsaber and just hack off the scene like really badly.
Yeah, real quick. We can put it back in later, but for right now, this may not be the best idea.
Yeah,
I did like the cameo of a random clone trooper that was like homeless, helper of that.
And it was voiced by the actual guy.
Yeah, Tom Morrison. I thought that was Rex for a second there because he had 501st armor, so I was like, oh, okay. But I don't think it's Rex based upon this timeline because, as far as you know, he wasn't homeless. He was recruiting.
It's 10 years. It's 10 years after. So, I think by 10 years after, I think any clones still remaining in the army are either trainers or commanders.
Or in terms of Rex, the reason why most likely won't be Rex because at this point he would be on the planet in the ATTE with Wolf and Gregor, right?
Probably. It's been a while since I watched that episode, but like any clones that are still in the Imperial Army are like trainers or teachers.
Yeah, at that point.
Because remember, they did offer him to let him teach at the academy. I think there are a few clones that are like that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like Cody actually took him up on that deal. By the way, so real quick, what character do you want to see in the next couple episodes? Because I kind of want to see Commander Cody.
Well, definitely one of the clone troopers. Like I want to see. I mean, honestly, I love the actor for the clone troopers in Boba Fett. So seeing more of him.
What they could do, I want to see a flashback scene that shows
maybe
a year.
Maybe Ahsoka.
Yeah, they could do that.
Well, it'd have to be because the Ahsoka you see in Rebels is like 15 years older, so it's like you kind of have to have a teenager. Like, wouldn't you? As much as I love Rosario Dawson, she might not be able to play that role.
Mm-hmm. They could have a teenage Ahsoka. They could have a teenage Ahsoka. And what they could also do, I really hope they do at least in one episode, have a flashback where it's the Clone Wars and like everyone's in their Clone Wars like season 1 gear or something like that.
Also,
like has the armor.
Also, I want to see Cal Kestis.
Oh, that's true. They could
because Fallen Order well, the thing is, they said Fallen Order 2 is actually going to have the same Inquisitor from before, and I guess Fallen Order 2 takes place a year or two before Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the events of Fallen Order take place even faster. Like,
he could still show up.
I want and have the actual actor show up as Cal Kestis.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I also want to see Satine show up as like a flashback to like maybe they'll show. I guarantee you, I think they're going to show Qui-Gon I think Qui-Gon's gonna make a return.
Yeah, you don't bring him back for the flashbacks like that. And like they kind of mentioned Qui-Gon a few times in the show.
Yeah, and he's learning how to commune with Qui-Gon. So I guarantee you, it may not be Liam Neeson, but I'm pretty sure Qui-Gon is going to show up in the show.
At the very least, we're going to have his voice.
Yeah, at the very least, it'll be his voice. So okay,
because I guarantee you, Disney would pony up the money to get Liam Neeson into a voice booth for a day. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And they would have no problem.
They could always take like some stock footage of him, project it, make it all blue like a Force ghost, and then have the new dialogue.
Yeah, because like it's going to be a Force ghost anyway, so it's like there's enough vision obscuring stuff where you can make it CG and make it work.
Yeah, it's not like with Luke Skywalker where you see him and you think that's cool, but it's a little icky.
Like they could totally do Liam Neeson CG Force ghost and have Liam Neeson voice it. Even do motion capture, you know, like have him for a day, motion capture all his lines, capture his voice, and then paste that onto the head, and it'll work.
Yeah. So
or just put some robes on him, put some sparkly, de-age him a little bit, put some sparkly effects on him, bam.
But yeah, they could definitely do that.
Like Disney has options, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's many different ways that Disney can do this, and if any company can pull it off, it's Disney.
Yeah, they've been getting the days of Tron Legacy are far behind us.
Yeah, exactly. So, and plus, this is easier than Tron Legacy because they can make him like transparent and like a ghost.
I kind of want to see them do like a re-release of Tron Legacy where they redo that head effect. Just to show them how far they've come, you know?
Yeah, make it way better. Yeah, exactly.
Because have you seen, like, I've seen some deep fake technology used on that scene, and it looks so good.
Yeah, a lot of
consumer-grade technology. Okay, just think about this at the moment, okay? Consumer-grade cell phone technology is better than state-of-the-art CG from 2011.
Yeah, exactly. And... yeah, exactly. That's true. It's like some people did like deep fakes of Luke Skywalker, of Leia from Rogue One, Tarkin, and it looked way better.
Tarkin wasn't terrible. I feel like people harp on Rogue One a little bit too much. I'm kind of a stan of that film, so I'll defend it.
Oh, I love that film. So now we do know that at some point Anakin and Obi-Wan are gonna meet and have a battle. But what I'm thinking is that it's not going to be as crazy as the Episode 3 fight because Anakin's kind of practically immobilized. I mean, he can just do this.
I mean, to be fair, if you read all the, you know, kind of getting that out of that system.
Yeah.
Darth Vader actually kind of reorients his fighting style. Like before, like, you know, the forms of lightsaber combat, right?
A few, kind of.
Okay, so quick little rundown. So, Obi-Wan is a practitioner of, I believe, Form 3 Sarisu. Sarisu is a defensive style, and then you know, which is like you know defensive or whatever. Let's see here. Form 5. Saber is sorry, I'm looking.
All good.
So Anakin is Anakin as in like Jedi Anakin is Form 5, in particular the Jim So variation, which is brute force. So Darth Vader takes when he becomes Darth Vader, he more practices Form 2 Markashi, which is what Count Dooku used, which is like fencing, you know.
Okay, so and that makes sense because a lot of his arms are like messed up.
Yeah, so and the thing is, Vader becomes more deadly than Anakin because his disabilities force him to rethink his style and be more thoughtful with how he does his combat.
Okay, I can see that. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I mean, this is all lore. Some of it probably might not even be canon anymore, but
because remember, it's Disney we're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah. And plus, honestly, in 10 years, Vader's been hunting Jedi for 10 years at this point. So, you know, the only thing that I will kind of get a little angry about is as cool as it would be to have a confrontation, I feel like it's heavily implied in episode 4 that this is the first time they've seen each other since Mustafar.
That's true. Yeah,
Like,
that was a big concern a lot of people had coming out into the show, because they did say that like there's an epic battle, but
when I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am a master.
Although I thought about this, the way they could like write their way out of that is make it so like what that line was actually saying is that you thought I was the apprentice Sith, but now I'm the master Sith. There was like Anakin trying to lie to Obi-Wan to make himself sound more intimidating and stuff.
I mean, honestly, they're probably gonna do the lazy route, and after Obi-Wan beats him, he'll say it's like, "Oh, you still have much to learn, Anakin." Some really stupid way to justify that line.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're gonna do something like that to justify him saying it. It's like, oh, when he said I was but a learner, he meant he was throwing back what Obi-Wan said back at him. Like I would head smack myself right now, but I just throw up my glasses.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Now, okay, so we already mentioned what characters we want to say, we want to see in the show. Like, I'm still, it's like, I guarantee you at one point they will show a Revan. I mean, probably in Acolytes, most likely in Acolytes or like some kind of Mandalorian thing.
I as much as like Acolytes, I'm kind of weary about because that's a full-on Kathleen Kennedy production, and I'm kind of.
What I mean is that eventually they'll do it because they have the perfect opportunity. Sith and Mandalorians.
As long as they have Keanu Reeves playing Revan, I'll be happy.
Yes, exactly. So, also, do you think I could also see, like, I don't want to go too crazy, but maybe Bo-Katan shows up because she knew Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars?
As long as they have...
Katie
Sackhoff, because I'm a Katie Sackhoff fan, and I don't care if she's too old to play that age of Bo-Katan. I don't freaking care. Just bring her in.
She voiced her in the episode in the Clone Wars. So
she's
no problem.
Freaking Starbuck. I don't care. As a diehard BSG fanboy, anytime you have the opportunity to put Katie Sackhoff into production, you do it.
Yeah, exactly. So I could say she would just. But like I says, who would play Satine? And I would say, would you try and have the same voice actor like with Katie Sackhoff? Or would you try and cast someone?
Who voiced Satine? That's the question.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick.
Because the thing with Katie Sackhoff is, she voiced Bo-Katan, but she was already an on-screen live-action actress, and she's already kind of a fan-favorite actress. So it's like she can do the live-action stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like she's already proven she proved herself to be able to play, Bo-Katan in live-action. So it made perfect sense.
Anna Graves.
I don't know who that is. You know who I want to show up?
Who?
Mace Windu.
If he's alive, which I think he's alive.
Honestly, with as much as Samuel L. Jackson saying he wants to return to Star Wars, as much of a fan favorite as Windu is, I don't really see why Disney wouldn't bring Mace Windu back in, especially for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, exactly. It gives a good, and plus what they could do is they could have him like fight. They could have him show up, and then Darth Vader shows up, and then they have a fight, and then Darth Vader actually kills Mace Windu, and that's to show how much more powerful Anakin has become.
Yeah. Even though Windu did defeat Palpatine, okay. I mean, you could argue he threw the fight on purpose, but honestly, I think Palpatine Windu would have won that fight regardless, just because of the way his style is perfectly suited for taking down Sith Lords. That's
true. Yeah, but it would also show. It would also like. I'm just taking it as a way to show that like.
I agree.
Vader has surpassed Anakin.
I agree with you. Like, I'd rather they do that than have Obi-Wan fight him. But the thing is, it's like it's really heavily implied that's going to happen because like you're bringing back Hayden Christensen to play Darth Vader. It's like it's like the whole rematch. They're kind of hyping it up. It's like they're not really saying it, but they're heavily implying it, and I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, or it could be just a confrontation, as if they just see each other, have a conversation, and something happens that they can't fight. It's just they just fall out or something like that. Although I feel like with the concept art that they released for the series, yeah, it looks like they're gonna fight. Watch them do it at Mustafar with the same music.
No, Disney's bad, but they're not that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Plus, like, I really hope Anakin doesn't set foot onto Tatooine because, like, I like the whole idea of, like, Anakin never wants to see Tatooine again. Like, if he could, he'd take a Death Star and blow it up. Because that planet has so much emotional. Plus, it's full of sand.
Yeah, exactly. It gets in his servos and all that.
Because you just know that if they have Darth Vader set foot on Tatooine, the first thing he's gonna say is, "I hate sand." You know they're gonna do it. The cringy callback line.
They have to. They even made a callback line in the Lego game. It's like he has the nightmare from episode 2. Padme goes, "Anakin, you seem restless. Did you dream about sand again?"
But that's the Lego games. That doesn't count. You know,
yeah.
They're silly. They're supposed to be doing the kind of stuff like that, you know. So.
Which, by the way, that was like one of the greatest lines of the entire game. So, I love.
Did you have a nightmare about sand again?
My favorite is like if you have like the unique dialogue between Anakin and Mace Windu. It's like Anakin going to Mace Windu, "Master, please make me a master, please." And then Mace Windu is like, "Let me think. No." I love that.
I really wish that was Samuel Jackson voicing that line.
Yeah, that's so good.
Also, this will never happen, but if you bring Mace Windu back, I just want him to say "mother effer," just like in a Star Wars thing. It'll never happen. It will never happen. Like
that ain't happening anytime soon.
You know, like if you're doing like. Like if they ever do like a rated R, they do a rated R Star Wars.
Yeah,
you got to bring back Mace Windu and have him say, you know,
he shows up and then as soon as he sees Anakin, "You mother effer."
Or even better, okay, Obi-Wan, he sees Vader. He knows he's like, "You mother," you know, you just cut him off.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. It's kind of like in Captain at the end of like Infinity War where he shows up and goes, "Mother."
Yeah. Can we call that blip censoring?
Yeah, it's blip censoring. Exactly, that's what it is. So essentially, Marvel has attained so much power that they censored Samuel L. Jackson.
That is a level of godhood that is unfathomable.
Yeah, the only time they can only surpass that if they censor Brie Larson, which they could because rumor is that they're going to replace Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. So I'm like, oh, okay, good.
Maybe with like the daughter of Monica Rambeau, because like she was actually an interesting character. I liked her. Like, I'm serious, that actress actually had some charisma to her. Photon,
and she was good in
WandaVision.
Yeah, and didn't Rambeau? Did you see Doctor Strange 2?
I've been avoiding it. I've seen a lot of the clips. It just doesn't look something I'd probably.
Okay. I'm not going to go.
I know the spoilers.
So you know that a Captain Marvel shows up.
Yeah, just that actress is honestly. I'm impressed
it's the mother
with Disney.
actress.
Yeah, I'm impressed for casting someone even more wooden than Brie Larson.
Yeah, that's true. She is. She was the same person they tried to replace James Bond with, but everyone's like, no.
I mean, I feel like I'm actually going to defend No Time to Die here because, like, I feel like they were kind of like hinting at it, teasing it for like the controversy. But if you watch the movie, it kind of plays out exactly as you expect it would. You know, where it's like, oh yeah, she's 007. She's like the cocky, brash agent, but like she doesn't take it. You know, Bond doesn't take a back seat. She's forced to admit, okay, you're pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then he has to take back door. He's like, nope, that's mine, and then he dies.
You know, it kind of plays out exactly as that kind of storyline you think. And No Time to Die is actually a really good movie. And like, I really don't like the love interest that he has.
Yeah.
I'm a Vesper fanboy.
She was better.
Like the whole chemistry between those two is very cold. I keep wanting to call the character Miranda Frost, but that's the one from Die Another Day, which coincidentally takes place in an ice palace. Kind of tells you where my headspace is.
Yeah, okay.
With the woman from Gone Girl, by the way, so.
Yeah. You could say she would play a good Emma Frost. You know I had to, dude.
I mean, honestly, anyone would do a better job than January Jones did.
Yeah, I would say so. The rumor is that they originally wanted Lady Gaga to play the role, and I'm like, sure.
I mean, honestly, Lady Gaga's a pretty decent actress.
Yeah,
like,
I think she would do really well with it.
Well, you got to realize, at the time, Mad Men was really hot, and January Jones, she does play the character, she plays a Mad Men well. But, like, that's the extent of her acting range. You know, like, she plays a woman child, you know, like the female equivalent of a man child. You know what I'm saying? And it works for her character. She plays the character she's supposed to play brilliantly, but she doesn't. That's what. There's a reason why you haven't seen anything more from her since then.
Yeah, and plus, here's the thing. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of her Emma Frost portrayal. I was like, oh no. As someone that knows the character, I'm like, oh no.
I'm just mad.
She was very wooden.
I love I'm just mad we didn't get more of like Banshee. I actually like the whole Banshee, like a Scottish mutant with like screaming powers. It's just so like cool and on point.
And he's stuck with an American accent, so I was like, okay.
I thought he was using a Scottish one.
He kind of stayed mostly with the American accent. I did not detect Scottish.
Are we going into talking about First Class, like how good that movie is? Like, are we actually going to go there, or are we just keep on Star Wars?
We can. Let's talk. We'll talk a little bit about it. I love that movie because it's like, first off, they start wearing the Grant Morrison suits, where it's like the flight suits. So I was like, oh, this is great.
My favorite moment, like, there's kind of one moment where they go hyper political. And I'm not really sure how, like even to this day, the whole "don't ask, don't tell" kind of thing, where like that's very much a 2000s, 2010s kind of political comment. But like in the context of the scene, it perfectly works. Like anyone who watches it knows what they're talking about.
What scene?
But when they're meeting Hank for the first time.
Oh yeah.
He's like when he says he outs him as mutant, he forces him out of the closet, and Hank says to the commander, "You didn't ask, so I didn't tell."
Okay.
Which is very much a on the nose reference to "Don't ask, don't tell."
The thing.
That's
what the X-Men is a reference to.
That's more of a modern interpretation, but we can get to that. So for the people who don't know, "Don't ask, don't tell" was a policy in the military. I believe it's kind of started during the Clinton years.
Yeah,
for homosexuals in the military, where don't ask if you're gay, and don't tell if you're gay. You know, like that was the whole. I mean, it's since been repealed, thankfully. But that's what it was in reference to for the people who don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like the whole homosexuality thing, I think it's kind of a modern kind of application because, like, up until the 2000s, it was very much a racism allegory. You know, I gotta defend that.
Yeah, I would say it was X-Men 2, a movie with the cure for mutants that I think is when it went. Actually, it was X-Men 3 that it really went into the gay thing because, like, have you tried not being a mutant? Or
like, I will say, applying the issue of homosexuality to mutants works perfectly. I'm not against.
Well, yeah, of course.
But to say it's always been that way,
no, it hasn't always.
To say that was like the original intention of Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, I feel is very disingenuous.
Even Stan Lee said, I never intended to be an analogy for anything. It's like, if you wanted to do an analogy, that's fine, but I never intended to be anything like that.
But you know, have it be kind of a modern reinterpretation, honestly don't got a problem with that because it does, like, the whole, you know, being trans, gay, whatever, like, yeah, the mutant analogy fits perfectly for that. So I really don't have an issue.
Yeah, it kind of changed to if you're othered in any way, you can identify with the X-Men.
Which is the whole point of the X-Men to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, oh, okay. That's, although you could still get a little heavy-handed with the political analogies as, let me put it this way, it's like, give like modern Hollywood enough time, they'll find some way to make anything heavy-handed. So
but you do have to admit, in 2002, when they put in that whole subplot, you know, with like, have you tried not being a mutant? when everyone knows what they're going for.
Everyone knows that, yeah.
That was pretty brave. Like, you got to admit, that was pretty brave. Because even in 2002, you know, homosexuality is kind of starting to be accepted among popular people, but it still wasn't like the norm. We were still about 10 years away from gay marriage being legal.
Yeah. So, it took a lot of guts, but then again, that wasn't Disney. That was Fox. So, exactly. But,
they were clever, like a fox.
Yeah. So, let me ask you this. The one thing that, let me see. In terms of First Class, my only complaint is that they didn't hint at Emma Frost becoming an X-Men, which they're referencing Grant Morrison's run with the costumes a lot, and she became an X-Men in that run. So I'm like, and they killed her off screen.
Also, when you realize that in this timeline, Cyclops isn't supposed to be born for another 20 years.
Yeah. So...
And they get into a relationship, it kind of adds a little bit of a creepy eye factor to it, you know?
Let me ask you this. While we're on that topic, who are you more in line with being a couple? Scott or Jean, or Scott and Emma? I was more on the Emma Frost side.
I never really read that run, so it's like I can't really comment.
Mm-hmm.
I can only go off of what I saw with the movies, so they
never did a movie for that.
I'm not qualified to comment on it, is what I'm going to say.
Okay, that's fine. But they sort of did that, and with Scott being with a reformed criminal, it gives him sort of a new perspective on things, and that's all I'll say on there. Yeah. Let me put it this way: I'm used to having being in favor of unconventional romances like Superman and Wonder Woman,
Nightwing and Huntress.
They were together at some point?
Yes, actually.
Really?
I had to find a way to bring it back to DC, which is what I'm more familiar with.
Okay, there you go. Go.
Okay, so they did a 4-part miniseries called Nightwing Huntress, okay, where they teamed up for like a mission, and there's actually a moment where they sleep together. And there's
actually sleep together?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's in the early 2000s, really good miniseries. Yeah,
I'll look it up.
And there's actually this really funny thing where it's like he's in the kitchen, he's talking to Oracle, he's like, Dick, are you naked? And what's really funny, because like in this era of continuity, Huntress is a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And like the next time they see each other, it's like, maybe we shouldn't talk about it. Like he goes all professional, like all mature about it. Like, yeah, there was attraction and blah, blah, blah. He's like, forget about it. We got a mission to do. It's like, it's really adorable. And they actually kind of make a good team. I actually do like Huntress. I kind of like her story.
She's a cool character. And I love how the new 52 try to confuse everyone by saying, oh no, she's Bruce Wayne's daughter from another world.
To be fair, that's what she originally was.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
In the 80s, she was Helena Wayne, which was an Earth 2 character.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if you read those stories, they're written by Paul Dini. Okay. And it was in the 90s where they introduced her back into the main continuity, where they made her Helena Bertinelli and then gave her classic origin. So, originally, and also in the Birds of Prey TV show, she was Helena Wayne.
Oh, not in the movie. In the movie, she was a Bertinelli.
Yeah, but in the TV show, she was Helena Wayne. Daughter of Catwoman and Bruce Wayne.
I still haven't seen that show. I want to. I heard it's bad.
It's kind of like it's a so bad it's good TV show, honestly.
It's very CW. Is that what you're telling me?
Actually, it's very Warner Brothers, because it was made in 2002. Like
really?
It was made before the WB. It was made during the WB era.
Okay, but yeah, I definitely agree. Though I like her as a character. I think she's really cool, Huntress. And
by the way, Birds of Prey is the first live action appearance of Harley Quinn.
Really?
Yeah, because Harley Quinn is the main villain of that whole series. I mean, she never gets into her costume, but it's Harley Quinn.
They call her Harley Quinzel, or do they actually call her Harley Quinn?
They call her Harley Quinn. She's talking about her Mr. J.
Oh, okay.
It's Harley Quinn. And yeah.
It's because, correct me if I'm wrong, Batman dies in that series, like off screen, right?
I mean, yeah, they do the same thing that like the Gotham Knights is trying to do the whole tired, like, Batman's missing, we got to fill in the blank,
And then Batman will show up because if they need viewership up, he will show up in some way.
That show is going to last, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel the TV show with like with the whole new regime change.
Oh yeah, the axe of Zaslav is hungry. I guarantee you. Only this way, if it doesn't bring big numbers for its first like couple episodes, it's gone.
Yeah, like honestly, it might last 3 or 4 episodes. Like I don't think it's gonna last a full season because like it's D and C list tier characters. Like what is its biggest character is like what, Damien?
Yeah, I do love, or they'll do what they did with Swamp Thing, where they'll cancel it before the season even premieres.
And Swamp Thing, from what I hear, was actually good.
I love Swamp Thing. I want them to bring that one back. That would actually be really cool.
I mean, at least Titans is still trudging along. Like, I actually do like that show.
For the most part, Titans is popular for the most part. I mean, it's popular enough for them to keep it around.
With Doom Patrol, they embrace the zaniness of the property, and that's why it works.
Yeah, so it's like as long as they embrace like what makes those characters unique and don't try to overdo it, I can see like them being very popular.
I feel like each season of Titans, they've kind of gotten a little bit closer to kind of like what makes Titans work. You know, like the whole family, the whole interdynamics thing. Mm-hmm. So I feel they've gotten better with that.
A little better, and they've gotten a bit better with making Nightwing stop acting like Batman, because he's pretty much Batman in that series. I would like to see their Batman in the costume. We've seen Bruce Wayne. I just want to see Batman.
You want to see Jorah Mormont in the Batman costume?
Good point. No. But another
to be fair, he can swing a sword pretty good. And he's also...
he doesn't have to do any action. He doesn't have to stand around the suit.
Do you really want to see Bruce Wayne get friend zoned by Catwoman? Because that's what's going to happen.
No. But what
There's your Game of Thrones reference for you.
Yeah, exactly. What I do like, I love how they're like, okay, so it's like in that one episode where we first see Donna Troy. Jack is walking into his room, and all of a sudden Donna's there. He's like, "Oh, I heard Bruce talk to someone." Oh yeah, that's just Diana. It's just Justice League stuff. And I'm like, can we show the Wonder Woman here?
Yeah, like that first season was really had a hard on for teasing. Like they showed the Batmobile, they showed Batman in silhouette, you know.
Or it's like at the very end when they're driving to San Francisco, they're like, "Okay, we can go meet Superman," and then Garfield's like, "Really?" They're like, "Oh, come on." But I feel like season 2 was the best one so far, with Deathstroke like completely tearing apart the Titans. I love that season.
Yeah, and the way they handled Ravager was really good. I honestly, one of my favorite scenes is when Ravager reveals to Tim the whole plan. It's like you could see his heart breaking.
You mean Jason? It was Jason.
Jason, sorry. Like you could just see, like the guy acted it so well.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy is way too good of an actor for this show. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, he's better than people give him credit for playing. I mean, it would have been nice to have an older guy play Jason Todd, but I can see what they're kind of going for here.
Honestly, for this version of Jason Todd, I think he's perfect.
Yeah.
The 19, 20-year-old, it contrasts perfectly with Dick's kind of like late 20s version of Dick Grayson. I feel like for the dynamic they have, it's perfect.
Yeah, although I was a little PO'd while watching season 1 and 2 by how long it took him to get into the Nightwing suit. I'm like, come on! Then when he showed up, I'm like, finally!
And that suit is beautiful. Oh my god.
It is. I could not think of a better looking Nightwing suit. Oh my gosh.
Like those suits are like, Starfire, like, sorry, let's not talk.
Has a great suit.
Aqualad
has a fantastic.
I mean, hell, even Beast Boy, they give him the jacket that's perfectly on point.
And Hawk and Dove, everyone that actually has a good suit, except for Starfire, actually has a really good looking suit.
You know what's really funny is they gave Raven her accurate costume, because if you look at some of the deleted scenes for Raven, they actually give her costume.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess that they didn't want to continue on with that, but I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I feel like they don't bring her, like, maybe the actress wasn't available, but also it's kind of like a Professor X situation where it's like, all the things she can just kind of fix all the problems in 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's too much. She became a MacGuffin real fast. I did like Donna Troy's arc where she dies and comes back to life and shows up.
Yeah.
First off, I love who they have playing Donna. I think she's fantastic.
I love that, like, of both, you know, he's the 2 older women on Titans. Dick has slept with both of them.
Yeah, I know. It's not funny. Wait, it's never confirmed that he slept with Donna, though.
I think, I don't know. I think they did in the first. Like, they kind of said they had a relationship in the past.
I don't know. And then they bring in Barbara Gordon, and then guess what? He slept with her too.
Well, it's Barbara Gordon. You know.
Well, yeah. As soon as they bring in Barbara Gordon, I was like, okay, I know what they're going for here.
I'm really glad they had it be the Oracle version. I'm really glad.
Oh yeah, and I like how they actually like made her lose a leg now. So I'm like, oh okay, I see what they're going for here.
Although to be fair, if it was just a leg and her spine wasn't injured, she would just have prosthetics.
Yeah, that's true. And didn't they kind of made it so it's like, oh, it was only a leg injury in the show, right?
Well, because here's the thing: if it was just a leg injury, they would have given her a prosthetics. It's like in this universe they have cybernetic tech, you know. So
That's
it's like,
true.
Or even by our own medical standards, she would have just had a metal leg, you know. So it's
I also like how they very clearly tried to make her Catwoman.
Who?
Barbara, because if you see in the flashback, she's like the cat burglar, kind of.
Oh yeah, they did kind of bring in some of that, you know.
So I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing. So Dick is Batman, and it's just Batman, air quotes.
Though to be fair, I like the reasoning they gave her, where it's like I'm just doing it for the thrill because like my daddy is goody two shoes. I feel like that works perfectly.
Yeah, that works perfectly for Barbara.
You know,
I would have liked another way they could have done the actual Killing Joke thing. Is she opens the door and you don't see the Joker, you just hear laughing, and then it fades to black, and then you hear a gunshot. Like they don't necessarily have to show the Joker, that they have to, because they had the Joker kind of in Titans, like as a silhouette when he killed Jason.
Yeah, and I do love that, like it's implied that Batman killed Joker with a crowbar. You know?
Yeah, I was like, yes.
Okay, that's a good callback to Death in the Family.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely see that. So another thing I want to go into now, speaking of DC, is all right. So a couple of years ago, Warner Brothers entered into a $250 million deal with Abrams to come in and produce a bunch of content. And the thing is, he hasn't produced anything.
I mean, can we all just agree at this point? JJ Abrams is kind of a grifter. Like he comes in, he does, he does his typical JJ Abrams f-ups, you know.
Yeah, but the problem also is that he makes it so other people can't do projects with these characters, because you can't do Superman because you'll interfere with his Superman movie, which I am 100% convinced that it's gonna get canceled eventually. The one he's doing with Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Oh, the Black Superman one?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Especially with Zarnoff, it's like, I don't think so. I can see them doing, like, Man of Steel 2 or 3, where they introduce Michael B. Jordan Black's, like, another Kryptonian, like, you know how I would do it?
How?
Bottle City of Kandor.
Hey, that's actually not... Brainiac is the enemy.
Brainiac, and it's revealed, he has the Bottle City of Kandor, and when you do that, when he smashes the bottle of Kandor at some point, all the Kryptonians, they get to be regular size. Boom! You got a bunch of politically checkmark boxing correct people to do stories around.
There you go, and they're all super people. So that kind of works. I like that. And the enemy's Brainiac, and they go through all that because they kind of. But there's precedence for in the comics, and they can do it. Like it turns out, like Dark Knight 3, the Master Race, where the city is like where all the Kryptonians are like brought back, except they're all like a crazy cult that wants to kill people, and then Val Zod is like the one that Superman convinces to help him.
Yeah. Honestly, if they do a Man of Steel 2, what I would do is I'd have it be like 10 years later, and Clark has a son, John Kent, who's 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you start to do some Superboy stuff, and you kind of get that, so that way you can set up your Superboy to go on to different shows.
That works actually very well. Would you keep like the same Jonathan Kent actor from the from the Superman and Lois show, or would you move on with?
No, this is movies. This is movies.
No, I mean in movies.
I don't know. Well, this is 10 years old. This is a 10-year-old.
Oh yeah, it's a 10-year-old. So yeah.
I mean, you could, if you really wanted to, you could say it's 15 years later, but that might be going a little bit too farther in the timeline because, like, I feel like most DC shows are like maybe a year removed from Justice League, the events of Justice League.
A year or two, yeah, at least a year, at most a couple. At least a couple of months, at most a year.
Because I feel like if you really want to,
the only one that I think is like immediately afterwards is Aquaman, because they say, well, you fought Steppenwolf.
I mean that could be anywhere, you know.
That's true.
I really feel like if they want to restart the DC canon with the Snyder person, but also kind of like start like, let's do individual stories and lead up to something, I feel like you kind of need a time jump to allow a little bit of breathing room so you can kind of restart the storyline.
Well, they could, because here's the thing. So let's assume that
15 years. Let's put it 15 years in the future.
So let's assume that the plan is to restore the Snyderverse and do all these individual stories. Maybe because Snyder, in his little plan, he had all these individual stories. He had an Atom movie, he had a Cyborg movie, he had and then the Flash movie at the end is what reboots everything. So in other words, after Justice League 3, there's the Flash movie to reboot everything. Yeah. So what and I would say at least like a year or two afterwards, because that way we're a little detached from Batman being a murderous character, and that's we have like Shazam, there's Batman toys in the mall. Okay. Because do you really think, and then this was a question on Twitter, that if they were let's say that like it picked up immediately after Justice League Shazam. Do you really think there would be Batman toys immediately afterwards when we're talking about a Batman that murders people? So I'd imagine that's a little farther out, and to the point where like the Batarang is worth something, the bullet that hits Superman is worth something.
Well, also the fact that Superman's alive is not only well known, but it's no big deal. Like obviously, Superman showing up at your school is a kind of a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not, oh my God, Superman's alive. I think the idea that Superman's alive again is kind of accepted by the populace again.
And the way I always justify he's in the red suit instead of the black suit is that the Kryptonian black suit is known to be a temporary suit. It's a regeneration suit. He's done regenerating. Off screen, he just changed suits. There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm operating as if Zack Snyder's version is canon. In other words, the Snyder cut is the canon version, because I get the feeling most people take the Snyder cut as canon, and you compare it to.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, even though Warner Brothers has said no, it's our version's canon. I'm like, no, you kept it general enough, so I can say so. So you know what? Nah. Plus the fact, if the Flash leaks are true, it's good. The Justice League is the Zack Snyder version is canon because you have Iris West, and then Bruce talks to Barry about him going back in time and saving everyone. That only happened in one version. So I'm like, but anyway, going on to that, I would say 6 months to a year, I would say, would be when the individual stories pick up. And plus, even in Justice League 2, they established the team has been like a team for a while.
Oh, okay. I just had a flash of an idea.
Okay.
Man of Steel 2. Lois is pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because she is in the Snyder cut.
The plot is Injustice going to happen?
Oh, they play.
No, I'm not saying we do Injustice.
No.
I'm saying we basically be like, okay, is someone gonna kill Lois? You know, maybe even bring the Joker into it. Like, you know, maybe not that level of crossover, but like maybe another Superman villain is a stand-in for it.
That's terrific. They make you think. They make you think
Injustice,
or they make you afraid, and then it's like it doesn't at the end of it. Like, what they could do.
Maybe you have a fake out. To where it looks like Lois has been killed. He's going batshit crazy.
And then he stops himself. That way you can establish that, like, that's another version of Superman entirely. This one would never do that.
Oh. Okay, I got you one better.
All right, go.
Okay, so you know how in Man of Steel, Zod was like, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
And so he's threatening Lois. It's a similar situation to where, you know, he's got the eye beams.
Yeah.
Instead of snapping his neck, he's like, I'm not going to stop. I'm gonna, you know, instead of that, he just slams the head on the ground, knocks him out, and then doesn't kill him.
Okay,
So
that will work.
that's the whole thing where it's like he's learned from the first movie. The whole theme of it is don't go that far. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I always tell people when
That
they were
builds
pissed
upon the
off.
first film.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I always tell people whenever they were upset about like Superman and Man of Steel killing people. I'm like, where do you think his no kill rule comes from?
I mean, did people see like the next 30 seconds of that
Yeah,
scene?
where he like anguishly screams. It's like no, because he.
I mean,
killed the
that's a
last
scream
time.
of what have I done? That's a scream of like what have I done?
And the look on his face, he was like shell shocked. And even when he goes to kill Zod, he's like, he closes his eyes and he's like, I can't believe I'm about to do this.
It's like part of him rationalized like I had to do it. But like there could have been another way,
Yeah,
like,
everyone ignores him. Like he didn't snap his neck and go, okay, next. He was like, no, I killed a Kryptonian.
No, he was not like if you want to call anyone a psychopath, it's a Batman.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That one has no excuses.
Mm-hmm. Even exactly. And so I definitely like your idea of them doing a fake out Injustice. That'd be fantastic.
Because like the whole raising the stakes, make Lois pregnant, which I mean, we've already implied
she is pregnant in the Snyderverse, and then for taking Zack Snyder's Justice as canon, yeah, she's pregnant.
Yeah, so have her be pregnant and have Man of Steel 2 kind of take place a few months afterwards. She's visibly pregnant, and basically the whole. By the way, Man of Steel 3 is Brainiac.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like what villain would you have
for Man of Steel 2?
The first one that comes to mind is Parasite or Metallo.
I could see Metallo more because then you play off he has to fight against Kryptonite.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of all the rising stakes. Because Brainiac is kind of a very much like
Brainiac would be a 3, a part of Man of Steel 3 that they can build to. Like maybe Metallo, instead of being like a military guy who was recruited, instead of making the Metallo project a like U.S. military project, it's like he's an astronaut that was abducted by Brainiac. You kind of bring in the cyborg Superman component, except he was like reformatted by Brainiac to weaken Superman. And then Superman finds out about this, and then you hint Brainiac's coming.
So you're talking Hank Henshaw,
kind of, yeah.
So, but you're basically combining Metallo and Cyborg Superman.
Yeah,
Hank Henshaw, like a cyborg, kind of thing. By the way, it has to be done by Cadmus Labs.
Yes, exactly. Yes, of course.
Also, maybe a scene where you're in Cadmus and you see Project Superboy.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be you start laying these seeds.
No. Even better. The post-credit scene is we have another, and you see the tube where Superboy is in, and it's Connor.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be fantastic.
And then the Man of Steel 3 is
Connor showing up and Superman to take him under his wing.
Well, I don't know how I'd play that because.
Don't make him show up in Man of Steel 3. Make that like a Teen Titans.
No. I kind of do it the way they played Knuckles in Sonic 3, to where like he's kind of going after each other, where he has to like face both Connor and Brainy at the same time, where it's like I don't need you, where like they kind of show the hint of it, and then third act they team up.
Mm-hmm.
And like the epilogue is like, hey, you're going to need to be enrolled in Smallville High. Is the name Connor okay? And by the way, you're going to need you're going to need something to denote you. So here, and it's a black T-shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
And he's like, you got this from a merch stand. It's just kind of like make a funny quip about it.
Yeah, that's great. Except that, and the way they do it, it's the Zack Snyder Superman S. Yeah, I love that. So now we've talked about how we do Superman. How would we do Batman?
That's an issue because you got the Robert Pattinson Batman thing going on.
Well,
and
here's the problem. Snyder Batman.
Okay, let's pretend the Patterson Batman never came out. Like that doesn't exist, because that's the only way that I can make this work in my head, because I don't see DC doing two competing Batman series at the same time.
Yeah, let's say that they went with the Ben Affleck movie where he fights Deathstroke.
I would be seeing that opening night first and foremost.
Yeah, that's first off. Yeah, I'm like, particularly that Batman and that Deathstroke. I'm like, oh hell yes.
Okay, so that's Man of Steel 2.
Mm-hmm.
The question though is,
Now I could see
Carrie. Okay, so one of these you need to bring in Carrie Kelly.
Yeah, exactly, and that plays into what I was
Because
gonna say for Batman 3.
because the thing. It's because this Batman
It's the Dark Knight Returns Batman.
And it's like, you want your female Robin. The best way to do it is to do Carrie Kelly. You know, I mean, Stephanie Brown was Robin, but that was kind of like she was a failure. And she's
since you're doing the Dark Knight Returns Batman, clearly.
Yeah, it's like you want a female Robin there. No one's going to complain. Carrie Kelly.
And the way I could see
also,
Batman
she's got to
3,
have the glasses. I'm sorry.
Yes, exactly. The way I could see Batman 3 being is the movie where Batman, where we bring in the Bat family and they all team up against like maybe the Court of Owls or something like that. And you establish this is where Batman learns that he has to rely on his teammates, even though he's a member of the Justice League, but he still has.
Okay, as an aside. Mm-hmm. I really want to see Court of Owls in the Patterson Batman verse because, like,
oh, you know they're gonna be part 3
because, like, I feel like Patterson's Batman verse is perfect for Court of Owls.
They're clearly, if you see Batman 1, they're very clearly setting that up.
Also, I wouldn't be surprised if that kid from the first movie is going to become a Robin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's already played by a dude that becomes Tim Drake in the Titan show. Yeah, he's clearly going to be a Robin.
Yeah, which I don't mind. By the way, I like the Batman. I liked it. So.
I loved it. It's very clear that I would say, based upon what they set up in that movie, part 3 villain is going to be the Court of Owls. Part 2 is probably going to be Hush.
Yeah, I just hope they don't do the Joker because I feel like the Joker's kind of played out this point.
No, I think Matt Reeves is smart enough. He already said I'm not going to show the Waynes being killed again because we know how Batman became Batman.
Or just don't have Joker at all. You know,
yeah. Just,
though I honestly I kind of want to because like I kind of wondered like the whole like what movie were they going to see? It was 2002 when they got killed. Like my headcanon is they saw Shrek.
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be great.
Though if it were me, what I would do is in 2002 they were going to see a re-release of The Mask of Zorro, the Antonio Banderas version.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Because Legend of Zorro didn't come out till 2006, so that wouldn't work. And Mask of Zorro was like 97, 98, so they're going to see a re-release of it.
Mm-hmm. In like an old timey theater, and Lord knows Gotham.
Yeah, so it was the Antonio Banderas version because I love that movie, and
that was a good movie.
You know, I would love to, you know, like they went and saw The Mask of Zorro, you know, and that ties it into like the Zorro thing, you know.
Yeah, there you go. So. Now I've done that. Now, here's the question. How would you Wonder Woman? In other words, what I would do is I would make it so Wonder Woman 2 never happened. We're going to ignore 84.
Well, it happened in 84, so you can just, because they've already said Wonder Woman 3 is going to happen in modern day, so they very easily can just say, they can just like it happened, but they just don't talk about it.
And I would stop bringing back Steve Trevor. He's dead. He's dead. We're done. We're done with Steve Trevor. We're not going to do anything like his son or like some like a descendant of Steve Trevor. No, we're done with the Trevors.
Well, you can't do Steve Trevor's grandson.
Mm-hmm. What I would do?
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay. Wonder Girl is Etta Candy's granddaughter.
Oh, that's fantastic! Actually, wow. Because like Cassie Sandsmark.
Because you know Cassie Candy, by the way.
Okay, yeah, but
because like in '84 they showed that she's you know she still spent time with Etta Candy because you see that one with like the really old. Mm-hmm. I can't believe they brought back the actress for that one picture and put her in age makeup. That was cool. So like just imagine you know like Etta Candy like maybe the parents get killed in a tragic thing and like take care of my family and you know promising it and it's like Cassie is basically as a baby, you know, let's say they die in a fire, which is classic Wonder Girl. Like that's Donna Troy's origin, but like basically,
or she dies like
Donna Candy. Sorry,
Donna Candy. There you go. Or they could make it so like they
no. Donna Candy would that you know the mother was Candy. The father's last name was Troy.
Oh. Yeah, if we're going with
and they die in the fire, and she's a baby, and basically, Donna Troy was raised on Themyscira.
Or what they could do, remember in the Snyder Cut where she saved those that little school trip, and that girl goes, "Can I be like you someday?" That girl turns out to be Donna Troy.
I kind of want to tie it into Etta Candy.
Yeah, but we can use we can make
Because I love that
Cassie out of
character. I
sand-
love
out
that
of candy.
character from the first movie. I love that.
Yeah,
character.
we can make her like we can make Cassie her granddaughter.
I mean, possibly, but I
Either way is fine. That's a fantastic way to do it. So there you go.
Because being raised on Themyscira, you can kind of do the hand wave of like, oh, the magic of Themyscira is what gave her like Amazon like powers, you know. Like,
but
kinda...
remember, at this point in the timeline, Wonder Woman hasn't gone back to Themyscira yet. She goes back in Justice League 2. What we could do is make it so we can retcon it where Wonder Woman has always been watching over Cassie, but from a distance.
Yeah.
Watching over. And then another thing that I would want to establish in the Wonder Woman 3 and more modern is establish her feelings for Superman, because it's been pretty obvious throughout all these.
I mean, honestly, it feels like in Justice League they were kind of shipping Batman and Wonder Woman, kind of a little bit, like.
But even Zach said, "Nah." I think that those
the Justice League fanboys are mad. You have made the DCAU fanboys mad,
which I'm fine with it, because I don't take shipping advice from the dude that and I'm talking about Bruce Timm that shipped Batman and Batgirl. I'm like, nope.
I feel like people kind of overblow that, because like they're both 18. You know, like
no.
If you watch it, she's the one who initiated it, you know. She's
a Batman Batgirl. She's older. I mean, no, he's older. Like he's like 40.
Well, yeah, but as long as they're over 18, who cares?
It's still creepy. So it's like, oh.
I mean, even if you think it's creepy, I think people kind of like.
She's basically his daughter. That's why it seems kind of odd. But the point
I never really saw. I mean, she was always kind of like halfway in with a Bat family. Like I like, obviously, like Tim, Jason, and Dick are obviously his sons, but I never really like. There's kind of a mentor-mentee relationship in, like, this is my perspective, you know, like there's kind of like a mentor-mentee, but I never really got the whole daughter vibes. Like, obviously he cared about her, but like, you know,
the point is, it's a little creepy, at least to me, and I would say at least indicate that Wonder Woman has some sort of attraction to Superman, because she has had that in the canon. It's like for like years they've sort of established that she likes him, but if he's with Lois or something like that, just establish that.
I mean, it is the ship that makes the most sense. You know, I will admit that.
Yeah, and I'm convinced that if they were to do a Superman Wonder Woman movie, that would sell out, because it's like it's a new idea, but it's put into the comic book canon. I mean, it wouldn't sell out. I don't think it would do $1 billion, but I think it would be profitable. It would be an interesting way to take the characters, particularly these iterations.
Yeah, but then you'd have to kill off Amy Adams, and I'm
not necessarily.
Well, you'd have to break them up, which I don't like. I really like Amy Adams and Henry Cavill, their characters together. Like,
true,
and it's breaking people apart for the sake of shipping, which I'm not for.
Okay, that's fine. But the point is, I would at least establish that she. I wouldn't necessarily put them together in a movie. I was just saying that we indicate at least at one point that she at least has feelings for Superman, because that's been in the comics canon for like many years.
I mean, sure, I can buy attraction. I mean, seriously. I'm a guy and I'm attracted to Henry Cavill.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about it. So it's essentially that's what I would do. And then maybe I would I wouldn't bring in the Greek gods, because we had that in 1. I wouldn't bring in Cheetah, because we had that in 2, and it didn't exactly work out so well.
It worked. It was kind of working up until like the very end.
And she turned into a cheetah.
Which, to be fair, that is her comic like portion thing.
That's, you know, it's comic accurate. Just look creepy.
That's more down to bad CG and bad design than anything else. I feel like Kristen Wiig did a really good job with the character she was given. Like, I feel like the problem with Cheetah was that bad CGI at the end. Like, as far as all the Kristen Wiig stuff, I think that was cool. Like, I think like Wonder Woman 1984 is, I feel like, a movie that, like, there's kind of a good movie buried in there. It's the same thing with Spider-Man 3. It's like, there's a good movie buried in there. It's just there's a lot of crap piled on.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there. So yeah, I can say, okay, so we'll say Cheetah's the main villain or something like that.
Or at least she's a factor.
Hey, what's up, Cole? And and then in terms of how would you play off? Okay, so we do Justice League 2, and that's like the start of the post-apocalyptic universe. Actually, no, I wouldn't jump straight to Justice League 2. I would do like the Cyborg movie, maybe the Deathstroke movie, and so forth.
By the way, post-apocalyptic in this one, I think it should be kind of injustice based because
it is kind of. I mean, if you look at so the way the Snyder Vision was gonna go is that.
By the way, hi Cole.
Yeah, what's up, bro? So anyway, what happens is Superman is that Darkseid kills Lois Lane, and this Superman's will, and then he becomes like taken over by the anti-life equation, and then he that's the way Zack like twisted in Injustice in that sense, and then Superman becomes his enforcer, and then he takes over, and then it jumps 5 years actually. And then that's where you get the Nightmare World, and then Justice League 3 is when they undo it.
Yeah, and then probably what I would do is I'd kind of make the Nightmare World like a splinter timeline.
Yeah.
So that way you could have the classic Injustice ending where you have like the good Superman has to cross over and take out the bad one.
Yeah, that's true. So in terms of in the classic canon, in other words, if we're not going to go into like having like the if we're not going to go into the post-apocalyptic future, who would be a villain for the Justice League? Because I wouldn't use Darkseid because I feel like that's too obvious. Starro was in the Suicide Squad,
which is funny because like Justice League's first adventure was against Starro.
Yeah, I know. But who would you put as a Justice League villain? And not necessarily, I wouldn't put Mongol because that's like Darkseid light.
First thing that came to mind was Vandal Savage, but even then, I don't know.
No, because it has to be a villain that's like, wait, we make Brainiac invade in the Justice League movie.
I mean, Brainiac is a Justice League level threat. I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, because he's the only one that's like realistically, this is the threat.
Legion of Doom.
Okay, that actually works.
Because they were setting that up. Let's have a League of Our Own. I can't believe Zack Snyder. Wait. I think that was that a Zack Snyder?
Whedon.
Okay, because I don't really think Zack Snyder would reference. I like League of Our Own, but like that is very much more of a Joss Whedon thing to reference.
Yeah, and Justice League 2, the first.
There's no crying in baseball. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system.
Yeah, about half of Justice League 2 was going to be the Legion of Doom forming. So he was going to have sort of an Injustice League that was going to be Lex Luthor, Dr. Deathstroke, Dr. Moreau,
Joker.
I don't think it was going to be Joker. I think it was going to be the Riddler because the Riddler solves the anti-life equation. Then Black Manta.
By the way, in this version, in this continuity, the Riddler is played by David Tennant.
Okay, I can see that. And then it was going to be like Black Manta, Ocean Master, and Captain Cold, I think.
I kind of feel like Ocean Master, well, eventually he would come to the side of the good, but definitely Black Manta. I want to see more of Black Manta.
He was good. That was a fantastic portrayal.
And they perfectly set up like the whole revenge stuff. I loved it.
Oh yeah, perfectly. And it's like I want Aquaman. And then he sets up and you have the suit and everything. Apparently he is going to be in Aquaman too, so I'm really excited for that.
I would hope so because he's a really good villain and like I almost feel like it was kind of a waste to put him into that movie. Like they got one sequence out of him and then whatever. But it does benefit the sequel more because now all the setup's out of the way. So.
That's true. Now, okay, so we have like the Legion of Doom or something like that. It is the Justice League level villain, and then what comes after Justice League? Is that when you want to do Man of Steel 3?
Okay, so here's what I would do: do Man of Steel 3 and have Brainiac in it, but have him not be defeated. So you kind of have like a MCU kind of thing where it's Thor into Avengers. Or Loki was a villain in Thor, then he became the main villain in Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Brainiac is a villain in Justice League 3.
That could work. That'll be interesting.
Justice League 2 or 3 or whatever. But he's also the villain in Man of Steel 3, where it's like you kind of defeat him, but like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like he just retreats, and like he's gonna show up again.
Yeah.
And then okay, so we were doing a Man of Steel 3, and then who would get a movie? Do you think? Do you want to do like a Wonder Woman 4? Or you want to give like someone else who hasn't had a movie their thing? Maybe bring the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, Green Lantern. They're gonna. I mean, they need to do Green Lantern because they've been teasing it for so long. They needed like. I mean, I like the whole Green Lantern movie. I think it was fine.
And by the way, the reason why they cut Jon Stewart from the end of Snyder because they were gonna they said it would interfere with our own Green Lantern project that they haven't done anything with.
By the way, I think Jon Stewart should be the Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm 100% on that. Either him or Jessica Cruz.
Oh, what is it? Limelight?
Yeah, kind of. In Justice League versus the Fatal Five, because she's actually a really great character.
Yeah. I don't know. I want Jon Stewart. Sorry.
You could definitely have Jon Stewart. I love that. Yeah.
So as far as the Cyborg movie, what about him facing Brother Eye or OMAC?
Oh yes, that's fantastic.
Because you know like Brother Eye and OMAC are kind of like the equivalents of Ultron in the DC universe.
Yeah, and the basically I always thought him as a merger between Ultron and Skynet.
Yeah, like that's a perfect villain for a Cyborg.
Yeah,
or it's not an actual physical villain; it's an AI.
Yeah, and he has to fight the AI. He goes into it and he fights it. And
the only reason they can't infect Cyborg is because he's got New Genesis tech in him.
Yeah, Apocalyptian
tech in him. That's the only reason they can't corrupt him. But they want his tech to assimilate into their own.
That works. I like that a lot. That would definitely work. And so, or we could have used OMAC for like a Justice League villain, but I like it better as a Cyborg villain.
Yeah, because I feel like Cyborg would really benefit from like an AI kind of villain.
Yeah, exactly. That works 100%.
Also, it's like you gotta have. I'm sorry, I can't do that, Dave. You gotta have like. There's got to be a line in there to reference 2001.
Do you want to play a game?
That's war games, but whatever.
No, but yeah, they do like all these 90s like references for all these movies.
But have Brother Eye be like a glowing green eye, but it pulses just like Hal.
Yeah, and then it's like, I'll be back.
Sure, why not? It's just fan fiction anyway.
and then I would do like an actual like I would do a Flash movie, not make it time travel or anything like that. Just have him being the Flash and doing stuff. Yeah. At the end of all this, after Justice League 3, that's when I would do the Flash movie to reset everything like was originally planned, and then it can start with a new continuity.
Yeah.
So that's basically our version of DC. I know we went really off topic there with that one.
So kind of scooting over to the Patterson Batman for a moment. I want to see Mr. Freeze in this continuity.
Are you sure that wouldn't be a little too sci-fi? Because Matt Reeves is going very grounded, sort of.
Fine, never mind. But who would fit in? Like Hush would probably fit in. I don't know. I feel like they haven't really properly set up Hush in my opinion.
They did have a scene like when Bruce is seeing like the like video screen that has like his father like the Waynes are the next target of the Riddler, and it has like the reporter that they smeared, his name was Elliot, and then Hush appears on the screen. So that's what I think. Is he dropping hints that he's going to be a villain in this universe?
To be fair, Riddler was a mastermind of Hush. But also the thing is, I don't think they're going to bring in Ra's al Ghul because like one of the key parts of the whole Hush storyline was like Riddler had cancer, so we went to a Lazarus pit.
Well, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the actual.
That's a comic. No, that was a comic.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of like the whole inciting incident. But that's kind of more background stuff. Like you could probably cut out that portion of it, but like Riddler was kind of the mastermind of it.
You could say Hush was a follower of the Riddler, like one of his online people.
Also in this film, in the next film, they better have a Harvey Dent.
Oh yeah.
And they actually do it properly where at the end of the movie he gets scarred.
And the movie, yeah.
And Two Faces for the third movie. Because that kind of villain fits perfectly within this universe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I kind of want a Mad Hatter because, like, I feel like his kind of thing would really work.
In this
As
universe,
much as I'd
probably.
love to see this version do Poison Ivy, I feel like that wouldn't really work.
True sci-fi.
Exactly.
I wouldn't use anyone that has meta-human powers. Is the thing? If I'm
well, the
going
thing with Mad
grounded.
Hatter is another psychology-based villain where like his hats, make people, whatever. So it's like
that's why I'm like, you could kind of do that.
Yeah, that probably won't happen, but it could work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Hush. I'm kind of mentally going through the Rogues Gallery. You could do Bane.
Except make it so it's not like, well, actually, you could do Bane because when Batman injects himself with that adrenaline serum that makes him go crazy and punch that dude into the grate, it could say that was Venom, and then that's how they bring in Bane.
Yeah, I just hope they do kind of more close to the Dark Knight Rises Bane, because like Dark Knight Rises Bane was so close to being the perfect Bane. Like he was the thinker, he was a planner, but he wasn't as much of a brute as Bane was. And like the mask is a painkiller thing was just kind of like stupid, honestly.
Yeah, that's true.
Like because like the mask is supposed to be an injection of venom into his veins. Like if they can combine like the whole Venom thing with the Dark Knight Rises version, that'd be the perfect Bane.
You were born. I was born in the darkness, molded by it.
Also, if they do Court of Owls, I could very much see them kind of tying that in with the League of Shadows, because like Ra's al Ghul could work in this universe.
And what I would do is make it so that's how they bring in Dick Grayson. He's not.
Second movie
part.
Second movie. Talia is a love interest. Talia shows up in Gotham, and like it's kind of like that kind of thing. And then it's then you kind of reveal she's a League of Shadows. He's kind of like a secondary kind of thing, like she's a player and all this, but like he's kind of the secondary love interest kind of thing,
And what I would do is when you bring in the Court of Owls, we're gonna skip Dick Grayson being Nightwing, being Robin, and skip straight to him eventually becoming Nightwing. In other words, he's a Talon because that was the original plan. And then Batman sort of snaps him out of it, and then they team up and fight, and then he becomes
because actually they kind of retcon Dick's last name because Dick is part of the Grey Sons.
Yeah.
They
actually explain that.
I think they do in the comic a little bit.
But yeah, that's basically how I would handle the Court of Owls leading into Batman and Nightwing.
Yeah. I feel like the second movie will have a lot of setting up and whatnot.
And then maybe going on to the Talia thing, at the end of that, we see like she drops a baby on his front door and it's Damien.
The problem is Damien works best when he's like 10, 13 years old.
No, he just we do it like in the animated movies for Batman.
Okay, I got here's what it is. Talia is from the past.
Yeah.
So like he had an affair with her in the past. Like she shows up, she's a former lover, and she comes with Damien in tow.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I would do that. It's like during his time being trained by the League or something like that. Then she shows up and it's like, oh, here's your son. It's like, wait, what?
Oh yeah, because it didn't go into his training.
No, they didn't. He was Batman 100% when the movie started.
Now, a question is, how long has he been Batman in that universe?
1 year, I think.
So it's like
1 or 2 years or so.
So there's plenty of time for him to be crossing the world doing his training.
Yeah.
Which I can very much see that version of Batman doing.
Yeah, because we know it's a significant amount of time, like before he becomes Batman, that he's doing that training. So there's enough time for like they could make it was 10 years.
So they could perfectly slot in. He was in Nepal. He was trained, like Ra's al Ghul wanted him to be the successor. He even fell in love with Talia and had the child and whatnot. He
didn't know that he had the child. He left beforehand.
Here's what I would do. Second movie is you have Talia, and like the last scene, it's like, who are you? And it's Damien's like, hello, father.
Yeah, there you go.
And by the way, in the second movie, Talia actually like dies protecting Bruce from us. Like there's a whole bullet thing,
And she actually loves him too, and not wants to kill him like in Dark Knight Rises, which I think was total BS.
Well, that was a different version,
Yeah, it was a stupid version.
Yeah. Also, can we just not do the date rape drug thing, please?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, can we please not do that? Like, please, like that's that ruins Talia's character. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're not doing that. No.
Like it because you have the perfect conflict here. Like they actually loved each other, but the thing that brought them apart is he didn't want to be the leader of the League of Shadows. He wanted to be Batman, and that's what drove them apart. But like they still had that love for each other. That is the perfect conflict right there. That is the perfect storytelling mechanic. She shows up in Gotham. They have that flame is still there. It's like perfect kind of conflict between her and Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
What could also happen is that she sticks around. In other words, we don't kill her in movie 2, we kill her in movie 3. In other words, she shows up in movie 2, and then the conflict in movie 3 is that Batman's like, I'm not a good father or anything like that. And then when she dies, he promises her on her grave that he will try his best to be the father Damien deserves.
Well, the problem is like if you have him have her, because you got to take her out of the plot. Because if you want the surprise of like Damien just showing up to the door. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's kind of a lot of chess pieces you got to move around.
No, but what I mean is that in the animated movie, Batman's son of Batman, what they do is they have Talia just shows up and goes, "Here's your son."
Yeah, they could do that. I just think it would be a great kind of like stinger at the end of the
that
second
would be
movie.
funny though.
And
then fade to black, the Batman.
Yeah, and it's after Talia dies. It's like. Where it's like Damien, he kind of blames him for the mother's death. Where it's like, yeah, she died protecting you, but she shouldn't have. Like even though it's like
he realized placed in that position or something like that.
Like even though it's not technically his fault, the fact that he put herself in that position because of him is kind of where like.
And they could see throughout the entire movie that she has a secret that she's keeping from Bruce and doesn't tell him. Then the kid shows up, and that's the secret.
and then. You could bring because like I really think tying in League of Assassins, Court of Owls would be a good idea.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it works in this universe. So absolutely, it works in this grounded universe. They could definitely do that.
Basically combine the Court of Owls and the League of Assassins.
That'd be great. There you go. It's like it's like the end of part 2. The way I would do it, if the Court of Owls / League of Assassins were going to be the enemies in 3, the way I would do it is that the post-credit scene of 2 is Batman fighting like the calling card of the League of Assassins and going, oh no. Or the enemy is Talia showing up. I'm saying ignoring what we just
what if Thomas Elliot is supposed to be the successor to Ra's al Ghul?
Hey.
Like he's the one who was chosen instead, and Talia is there, and basically Thomas Elliot's mission, to fully ascend to be the successor is to kill Bruce Wayne.
And Talia
that is a very Ra's al Ghul thing to do.
Yeah, that's so good. And then Talia doesn't want Bruce being killed, obviously, so she goes and tells Bruce, "Hey, my father hired someone named Thomas Elliot to kill you. You might."
It's like as much as I hate you, I don't want you to die. Something like that.
Yeah. That works actually. So,
because the fact that he's the father of her son, blah blah blah. It's like, I'm gonna do the one thing I swore never to do: go against my father.
All right, there you go. So basically, this conversation turned from talking about JJ Abrams not doing anything about the DCEU to us planning out the entire DCEU.
Yeah. There's only so much we could talk about Obi-Wan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because not that much happened. We summarized all of it in the first I think 10 minutes of this stream.
I mean, I'm hoping in the future they give a decent backstory for why she hates Obi-Wan, because that's something that needs to be explained.
Oh yeah,
it's a second episode. It's a second episode, so they kind of got a bit of a, an excuse right now, but.
And they did say that they will go into her background, so conceivably, yeah, we're gonna get a little bit more indication. Yeah.
Also, I really don't like it when they bring the EU stuff into the they have this hard on for changing the names. Mm-hmm. Like Korriban is now Orobon, or the city, this planet that is very much obviously Nar Shaddaa is Dio or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's obvious. It's obviously Nar Shaddaa. Like you know, like it's obvious. Like seriously, like you could say like, oh, there's a different planet like that named Dayu. Like sure, but Nar Shaddaa exists in the canon. It is very much like that.
You could have just done that instead of making up your own stuff.
Exactly. You know, like honestly, having it be Nar Shaddaa would have been a good fan moment. You know, like oh Nar Shaddaa, reference. Sorry.
Yeah, that would have made all of the Old Republic people going, oh my gosh, they said it.
As a KOTOR fanboy, I feel offended. So
and that would be hilarious if in Obi-Wan, like one of the Night Sisters, Inquisitors on their ship, there's like all these trophies of stuff from like Sith history. Then like there's Revan's mask on there, and that's how they recanonize Revan. It's just they're not even talking about his mask is there.
You know what makes me mad?
What?
Is Revan was this close to being in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I know, and they cut that.
Like Darth Bane was in the Clone Wars, so like Darth Bane is canon. Which
I'm like, okay, cool.
I love the Darth Bane novels. That trilogy is really good. You need to read it.
I'll check it out. But yeah, I'm like, you mean you could have had Revan be canon? But you cut it. What?
I still think the plot of Knights of the Republic would be perfect for a movie.
Even though it's like a role-playing game, what they can do is decide
honestly,
here are the canon choices and just go with that.
I mean, to be fair, like there is like they have kind of canonized a few things, you know. You know, like for example, Revan in canon is in the old canon was a white male. The Exile was actually a female. They've kind of canonized that a little bit.
And they did kind of canonize that he would turn to the light side and then stop the Starforge and all that. Yeah.
But he did marry, you know, Bastila Shan. I love Bastila. Oh.
Yeah, that's a character they should bring back.
I mean Jennifer. That's one of Jennifer Hale.
Jennifer Hale, man. Jennifer Hale.
It's literally one of her best roles.
I met her in real life, so there you go.
I officially hate you. The only thing I can hate you more...
she signed a picture of Commander Shepard for me.
The only thing that would make me hate you more is if you said you met Grey DeLuise.
Who is that?
Azula.
Azula from what?
Avatar.
I'm not an Avatar fan. So.
All right, she's been in a bunch of other things. Let me. I mean, I guarantee you there's something that she's done. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Let's go to IMDb. That'll be easier. See here. She was on Scooby-Doo, Fairly Odd Parents. Oh, wait, Great. Okay, sorry. Is it Great Griffin? What the heck? Is that? I'm sorry. Just internet's being stupid right now. But yeah. Let's see here. She was Fairly Odd Parents, Billy and Mandy, Danny Phantom. Great. Okay. Let's see here. She was on Rugrats, Johnny Bravo. Let's see here. She's on Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Let's see here. House of Mouse, Roxanne. She was on Zeta Project, not surprised. She was Vicky on Fairly Odd Parents.
Okay.
Grim and Evil. She played Mandy on Grim and Evil. Let's see here. She played Daphne on What's New Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
She did lots of stuff on Codename Kid Next Door. She was Mandy on the Grim Adventures of Mandy. So,
none of
she was Kamiko on. She was Asajj Ventress on Clone Wars.
Okay, that's who you're talking about. Now
she was Shifter and Downpour on Justice League Unlimited. On the Batman, she was Vulture. Obviously, we talked about Avatar. Let's see here. She was Heat Blast and Xenile on Ben 10. Like, obviously, it's like you know the she was Black Canary on Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you
That
know
makes
the
sense.
voice now. You can hear the voice.
Yeah, okay, I got it. But yeah,
Um,
that would be fun. If it so what I do know is that if I ever meet her in real life, I'll send you the picture.
I can't give you the finger because this is a PG show, but I'm giving you the index finger.
You can give me the finger when we log off. And
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure I know your biggest fan. So, but all right.
If you have her do the Avatar voice, like say something to me in Avatar, insulting me for not being there, I will be both thankful and hateful.
I will do that then. All right. Consider it done. So I think it's a good place to leave it on the stream. We talked for like a long time on like a lot of different stuff, both related and unrelated to our topic. But that's part of the fun of doing live streams. We go wherever we can go on.
We go where no man has gone before.
No. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I will see you next Saturday for Comics League Live, and obviously Nick, you're always welcome.
I think I shall make a return.
All right, see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye guys.